I want to record an intro to this video after I did the rest of it, because I went down a lot of different rabbit holes trying to solve the problem I was having. And so I just very quickly, if you want the answer, I just wanted to quickly give that to you so you don't have to watch the whole thing if you don't want to, but you probably will learn a few things if you do follow along. But the basic problem I was having is I wanted a time field for my open and close hours for a location for my new website. And the problem was I had to start with using a time field here from MetaBox, time selector. But then the problem was when I went to display it on the front end, I wanted to format a certain way. I like having it formatted with AM uppercase. So I wanted it formatted a certain way, and I couldn't format it as it was saved in the time picker field or in the database. And there's actually a good reason for that. So I started, I did some research, asked AI, and discovered this sanitize function, which basically changes as you're saving information to the database. You can actually change it. You can sanitize it, reformat it. And I thought that was the answer. But the problem is, after it's saved to the database, which it did correctly with appending the time zone, it then wasn't editable anymore on the edit page, because the time picker field is expecting just a hour and minute value to look at. And what it was looking at instead was hour, minute, and the time zone. So it essentially broke the ability to edit this on the back end. So that was not an option. So I ended up going to using a text field here. This is the beauty of it. Like, this is pretty insane. So I hardwired the code, the sanitized code, to use Indianapolis as a time zone. But watch this here. If I say, hey, we're actually opening up at 5 a.m. and we're closing at, let's just say 9 p.m. Watch this here. Let's see how I wrote that, and I can even do it like that if I want to. Or let's do this here. Let's do 9:15 p.m. If I go and hit update, this correctly changed it to, it uses 24-hour format, 21:15. It uses 24-hour format as it saves it to the database, which is good, because it's a little more precise than using AM or PM. And so, but I can then format it on the front end. So now if I go refresh this, 5 a.m., 9:15 p.m. So I can format on the front end to be displayed the way I want it to be displayed. So I learned a lot through this here. Hopefully you will too. And yeah, you'll see the code that I used for this. It's actually very simple. I didn't write it. Got AI Gemini to help me, and she did a great job. So I hope this is helpful for you. Again, if you want to watch the full thing, feel free to, but I wanted to give you just a quick kind of answer or solution that I did run into. Basically, you need to tie the time zone to your time if you're going to use Etch's date format function, unless you just want to use UTC time for everything. In that case, you don't have to do anything, because that's the default. But even changing the WordPress settings, even going and changing the time zone to Indianapolis, like the date format function in Etch is still using UTC, and maybe I don't fully understand it, but well, yeah. Basically, by saving, by telling in the database, say, hey, this is the time zone, then the formatter will correctly render that and understand it. But if it's not there, it will assume this is UTC time. But yeah, I think that's the best way to, or that's the way I understand it anyway. All right, thanks for watching, and yeah, watch all the way through if you want to. Thanks. So let me just kind of show you how this works and kind of steps I went through, because it was a lot. Part of it was because these times for the days are in a group, and so that added a little bit of complexity to it. So I'll just walk you through what I did and then the final solution. So I've got one location here. I just brought in the title so I would know that I for sure had the right post that I was looping through. And this would apply if you use, if you have your open time set in an options page or settings page, it would, be very similar to this. So anyway, have my Monday and Saturday here. So for Monday, you can, right here, you can see the dynamic data key that I'm using. And so I went and I used the etch date format function. So if we go in here, date format, and then in parentheses and in quotes, put in the format we want to use. I have it copied to my clipboard, so I'll just paste it in there. And now I'll just copy this entire date format function and add it to the end there. So beforehand, I'm not going to hit save yet. So nothing changed here, but I didn't hit save yet. So this is what was displaying out of the box, and this is the raw data that is saved into the database. So if I go over here, I can see this is in a group, by the way. In fact, we can just look at this down here. So I just have it, 8 and then 16 for my time. And that's what's being saved to the database. So here is Monday open. Something does not quite look right. Let me hit save. I don't think I refreshed this over here. There we go. So the Monday open custom field is 08:00. Monday close is 16:00, and that's what we see here. And if we go on the front end, here, this is the front end. Yeah, and that's what we see here as well. So I wanted to format it to add the AM and PM to make it look more like American standard formatting. And even though, I guess this is one request I would have for etch. So if we go back into my site settings, into general, like here I've got my time zone set, and I've got the my default date format, which we're not doing a date in this case here, it's just a time. But here's my default time format. So yeah, I wish by default it would just use that with the date time function instead of me needing to specify it, but it's not a big deal. If I don't specify it, for example, if we come back here and I don't specify anything in here, I think it just gives back, let's hit save, view it on the front end. Okay, I actually thought it did something else. I thought it gave back the time in Unix time zone, or Unix time format. And if I put the quotes in there, does it do anything different? Okay, it just goes away. Anyway, that's not really what I wanted to get into. That was just like a a small nice thing to have. Let me just copy this whole thing again. Okay, there we go. Save. Okay. Sorry, I don't even remember anymore what I'd done here. But either way, it's giving me the wrong time. So now it's giving 3 a.m. to 11 a.m. Not what I wanted here. I wanted it to show 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So the problem is that and there's some discussion about this in the Etch community. The problem is that it's supposedly this date time, this function within Etch is trying to use the WordPress time zone, but it's not. So there's a way to get around this. Basically, I just need to, in my raw data here, I just need to say what the time zone is, and then it'll work. So in fact, even if I just go here, this is the Monday one. If I go type in, I think it's to America, Indiana, Indianapolis. Now if I go and hit go, which will basically save that. Yes, that was correct. So now I can see it in here. If I hit edit again, we can see it's there. And if I go up here to the front end, so now if I refresh, the whole thing broke. All right, so I might have just broke something. Let's just clear all this out just to be safe. And now I'm a little concerned. I hit go here. I meant to hit go there. So hopefully I can restore from the back of it if I need to. So if we go back here again, if I refresh, all my information here is going to be blank. So I'll just real quickly put this in here again. there. Open it time. Okay, there we go. Let's hit save or update. Let's go view this again. All right. So I messed something up there, obviously. But I wanted to demonstrate this, and maybe just saving it in the database was not the best way to do that. I'm not sure why, but like this should have worked. Refresh. It's just, yeah, here we are again. So I'm editing this field here. I'm not sure what the deal is, to be honest. Why did that not work? But either way, to test this is what I did to test this. So I went and just changed my custom field. Metabox, custom fields. I changed it to a text field. Instead of the time picker, I just changed it to simple text. And then I went and edited it too. So let's refresh. So I've got, I can type in here now. So it still has my value of 8. And then I just typed in America, Indianapolis. Maybe I spelled Indianapolis. Sorry, Indianapolis. And then hit save. Got that there. So on the front end, this should show up as 8 a.m. if it's correct. And now it did. Now it is 8 a.m. I'm not sure what I did wrong when I had changed it in here, because if I refresh, it should look very similar to that. America, I probably, yeah, I'm not sure what I did wrong. But that's basically what we need to do. We need to attach the time zone to this time, and then it will correctly display on the front end. So there's different ways to do this. Obviously, we can just change these all to text fields, and then just make sure we write in the time zone afterwards. That's not really scalable and maintainable. It's easy to break. If it's my site, I can, if I'm the only one editing it, I can make sure it happens. I can stay on top of it. But it's just not very easy for someone else to come in and do it, especially if they don't know, what they're doing. So the goal is to create unbreakable, scalable, and maintainable sites. So there is a way to actually pre-append or append a string of text to the custom field value before it is saved or as it is saved to the database. And I'm going to change this back from a text field. I'm going to change it back to a time field. However, let me do this. It might actually break it, because right now in that custom field, I have some text saved to it, and the time field is only expecting to have the time. And I'll show you how to fix that if we do break it. So let's go back to time picker. I'm gonna save changes, and let's just go back to where we're editing the location. Refresh it. Okay, now it says 0, 0, and am I able to select it? 8 done. Let's hit update. It looks like it's saved correctly. Just refresh this over here, back to 3 a.m. And let's just look at our database here too. The information is actually saved to the database, and yes, it looks like it is correct. It's just that text. If for some reason, because what I did have happen is that I couldn't even select the hour. I could only select the minute, and when I hit done and try to save it, it just wouldn't save. In that case, you can either delete the custom field and add it again, or you can go into the database if you know what you're doing and just delete that portion out of it and then hit go to save it. Obviously, definitely back up your database. Don't do what I did. Just hit save without making sure you have an updated version, which I could have reverted back to yesterday's backup. But I've done a lot of work since then, so that would not be fun. Anyway, the next thing, so I did some research, used AI, read the docs from Metabox, and I thought I had something working for sanitizing or adding to this custom field. So I went here, I had written my PHP for this. I put it in here, hit save, went to my location, saved it, looked at my database, nothing changed. And so then I asked AI, I said, hey, this is in a group field, does that matter? And it absolutely does. I saw something in the documentation from MetaBox that made me think that, or maybe it was a comment. It was a comment on Facebook group for MetaBox support or community. And that led me to believe that maybe the groups might be a little bit different with this custom sanitized callback function. So went back to AI and explained it and got this updated code, which works beautifully. So now, if I go, I'll show you the code here. And basically, you just have to explain to to AI what you want to do, and then you can, it'll generate, most likely generate some usable code for you. So I have this saved in WP Codebox. This is it. So this is the first one that I created. This was for, for single fields. I added this note, does not work for fields inside groups. So I said single fields. I meant doesn't work for fields that are inside a group. So I added this note here. I saved it just all in this one snippet for right now anyway. I just have it commented out so it's not active. And then this is the one that works with with a group or subfields in a group. So I gave it my function a name. So now I'm going to copy this. And I have the time zone set here that I want it to be. And then it's going to go through. It's only going to apply to subfields that look like they are time. So it's going to check if there is a single or double number digit, and then a colon, and then a single or double number digit again. And so, because one of my concerns was that it would try to do this to my Saturday and Sunday day, which I just have text written in here. I don't want to append that with the time zone. That would not make sense. So this is the code. I just turned it on now. I'm going to hit save. Now nothing's going to happen in my database. So if I refresh this, nothing's going to happen here because this function only runs once this is saved. And I need to, tell this function to run. So let's go back to MetaBox locations and go to this group. Where are we at here? We're on the group. And then down to custom sanitized callback, I need to paste in that function. So now when this is saved, it will run. So save changes. Again, nothing changed over here yet because I need to go to my location or my post, wherever this is applying to, and I need to save it. I can't just refresh. I need to go and hit save. So let's hit update or publish. I noticed this the first time I did this. It actually goes and just clears this out, which is, again, kind of frustrating. So if I refresh over here, I can see, oh, that's weird. So here in the database, it's actually correct. The Monday open is 8, America, Indiana, Indianapolis. Monday is closed, 16, all the way down there. But on my edit page, it has them cleared out as 0. So because what's in the database is what's being referenced on the front end, not necessarily this edit page. They should correlate, but they're not right now. I'm just going to refresh one more time. Yeah, weird. If I come over here and refresh, I've got 8 a.m., 4 p.m., exactly how I wanted. But my edit page is messed up. So I'm just going to try this one more time. I'm going to say 7 here. Let's just hit save once. Okay. I was pretty sure this was working. All right, so turns out that the reason that we can't see the value after we save it is because this is a time field and it does not recognize the value that is now in the database, which is 8, which has that text at the end of it. There is another way to do this, according to AI, but I didn't like its approach. It was trying to, I didn't like its approach. So in the meantime, my hosting provider, WebNestify, did get back with me and said I can change the PHP time zone settings per site. And so that's what I'm planning on doing instead. So I'm just going to sign into this, and let's on my other screen here. So actually, before we do that, let's just get back to where we were without all this extra stuff here. So back to tools here, leave. Let's just turn this off, save. Now this is not running, and now if we go to our location, refresh, and let's save this again, 8. All right, update. All right, saved here. If we check the database, refresh. All right, back to where we started. And if we look at this here, we should have completely incorrect time because it's being using the wrong time zone. All right, so now let me try to edit my PHP time zone settings for this site here. I need to follow PHP variable for specific time zone. All right, sorry, I have my different camera, using my phone for something else right now. So I decided to go completely away from using, or sorry, I was thinking about going away from using the sanitize function because it just didn't seem like a good option to try to use the time field, which is just giving me, you know, the time numbers, the hour and the minute, and then to go and try to add the time zone to it in the database. But then on the edit screen, it doesn't work anymore because that field type is not expecting to have a time zone with it. So I was going to go just away from using time zone at all. I looked into changing the PHP to INI time zone, but that also wasn't working, at least not on the front end when I was displaying it in Etch. So then I decided, let's go back to the sanitize, but this time let's just use a text field, and when it's sanitized, it'll put in the time zone, and the person can see it and edit it just fine. Yeah, I think this is a good approach for users, for scalability, maintainability, and for getting the right information on the front end. So this is that code base, and this is set up to use on a group field. So I need to copy this, and I'm going to wait to turn it on for right now. So right now it's still disabled. Let's go back to MetaBox, and let's just go change our locations. We need to change these to text. 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 Okay, save changes. Let's go edit our location here. I'm just going to refresh. Nothing should change. Yeah, we got that there. So now let's put a function in here. In fact, let's just hit save. I'm just going to refresh one more time. I'm going to hit update, and yeah, nothing changed. Now let's go. Let's add our function in here on the group. So I'm going to click on up here, and okay, I still had this actually in there, which is I'm going to change this new function name. Save changes. Now I need to go turn it on. I didn't do that yet. So tools, code box, right here, turn that on, hit save just to make sure. Let's go back here. Oh, let's also just keep an eye on our database here. So yeah, nothing's changed here. Still just have I have that, and where are we at? Okay, so now let's refresh and let's hit save or update. And we should update. There we go. So it's doing it in 24-hour because that is probably the best way, or yeah, that seems to be the best way to save it in the database. But now we can use we can format it easily. So now, moment of truth. Let's go over to the front end, and now if I refresh this, is this going to be changed? There we go. 8 a.m., 4 p.m. Now, what happens back on the edit page here? What if I change this to, I'm just going to remove all this here. What if I change this to 7:30 a.m.? I'm going to hit update. Look at that, 7:30 a.m. What if I change this to 5 p.m.? So I'm not putting a time zone in there. I just said 5 p.m. Hit update. Look at that, 17. And now if I go on the front end over here, that should be 5 p.m. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And obviously, anyone can just come in here and just change it, to 16 if that's what it's supposed to be. And it's automatically, it's ignoring things like this here. So I could do by appointment, and it's ignoring those fields by appointment because it's basically it's looking for time, like it's looking for like a time, and then it's formatting it. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I don't understand this very well at all, but I know what it's kind of trying to do. So we finally got a working solution, and so yeah, this took a long time. I mean, this actually took me a lot longer than the recording of this video, but yeah, there it is. I hope this is helpful, and this is a better use of the sanitize callback function. It doesn't work great to use it on a time. Like if it's going to break the input when I'm on the edit screen, that's not a great use. Like that just doesn't work. And AI, they had some suggestions on other ways to do it, but it just felt like felt more complicated. It felt like jumping through more hoops. And I still think we came to a scalable, maintainable solution, which is what I aim for and want to do. So I'm happy about it. I like it. And remember, this is hardwired in for this time zone. If I'd go and change it in here, it would change it back to like the Indianapolis time zone, but which is fine. Like that's what I want. I want it to be, that time zone. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope that this is helpful. And yeah, drop a comment below if you have questions, and I'll try to answer it. But to be clear, I'm not a PHP expert. So this was actually all written by, tweaked it slightly, but 99% of it was written by Gemini in this case. So thanks for watching. Have a good one.